Hi folks, my name is John Dosh with Pass It On Outdoor Skills, and I got Maggie, my dog Maggie, running around here somewhere, so she may flash in and out of the scene every now and then. But today what we're wanting to talk to you about is primitive trapping. We're going to do one trap today. It's called the Siberian deadfall, and that's what I got set up right here. It's a pretty cool trap, and takes hardly any time at all to set up. But excuse me just 1 minute, let me grab my bag. Alrighty, now I set my bag down, forgot it. But, it doesn't take a whole lot to set them up. The trigger system we use on here is get rid of my hat. The trigger system we use here is a figure 4 trigger system. And the other day, my wife was cleaning out kitchen drawer, and she come across 3 chopsticks, and she asked me if I thought I might have a use for them before she threw them away. And I said, well, shoot, yeah, I do. Take them. First thing I thought of whenever she handed them to me was a figure 4 trigger system, and I cut them, made a trigger system, and I was like, wow, you know, the thing worked so well that we hopped in the truck and took off to Walmart and to see what they had, and they have a bundle of 24 chopsticks for like $2.50. We'll combine them with a bag of rubber bands, and you have the makings here for 8 figure 4 traps. It takes up very little room in your pack. It doesn't cost anything, and they're quick. I mean, you can make them in the wild. You can sit around camp and make them, but you know, for $2.50 I can buy a pack of 24 chopsticks, throw them in my pack, and they take up maybe a 1 by 1 inch square of space. And I have the makings for a trap, you know. And then with the rubber bands, I like to use rubber bands. Good friend of mine, Jamie Burley, had posted a video on YouTube where he used rubber bands instead of making the cuts, and ever since I watched that, I've tried it. I fell in love with the system. And what it is, see if I can get up a little closer here. But you got 3 chopsticks, or 3 sticks. Connect 2 of your chopsticks with a rubber band, and then connect one of the previous and the extra chopstick you got down at the bottom with the other rubber band. Make I don't know if you can see it or not real well, but there's a 7 notch cut in that one, and then in that one right there is a cabin notch right up here. And take that, fold them out, set them up like that. A little bit of adjusting to get your height right, and you have, if I can get my fingers to work here, you have a very effective figure 4 trigger system. And the cool thing about this is, with these rubber bands, whenever you put these rubber bands on there and then you twist it down to set it, the rubber bands store energy. So whenever the animal trips, it comes in and flips that, and it goes boop like that. All that energy tends, I've had it do it every time, but I ain't gonna say it's 100%, but every time I've had them kick that whole system out about 3 foot away from my deadfall. So this thing ain't getting bound up or in your deadfall, and giving a little space there for the animal to wiggle out. It kicks it out to the side, and it doesn't interfere with the trap function. So what I got here, I'm gonna get up and get my camera, and we'll give you a tour of the trap setup. Alrighty, what we have right here, this is the deadfall. That's the weight, the deadfall weight. Lift this up. Underneath it right there, that's the anvil plate, and that's what the deadfall falls on, trapping your animal. This here, this And this are my uprights, or my guide sticks, and that's to ensure that the deadfall falls straight down, okay? So it can't kick out to the side one way or the other. It falls right in between them and falls straight down. Behind here, I have a little containment area built, and it's just, maybe a dozen sturdy, maybe an inch in diameter sticks pounded into the ground in a half circle, semicircle. And then I've woven, as you can see here, I've woven in some green limbs, and in this case I've used sassafras, and I wove them in and out in kind of a basket fashion. And what that does, that builds a kind of like a containment area for my bait. I place my bait back in here. When I set it, the animal has to come around and come through here to get to the bait. He can't come in from the back or the sides, so he's coming through here, and he's going to trip my figure 4 trigger. Deadfall's going to fall right on him. And if you notice back here, I got a pile of leaves and I got a pile of chaff, some straw. And once I get that set up, what I'm going to do is bank it up with the leaves and the straw and everything, and kind of make it to where they smell the bait, but they're going to have to come in from this way. So that's my trigger set up, or my trap set up. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to set the trap up, and then we'll show you the full operation of it. Alrighty, let me get on this side. Hopefully I stay in the frame, but take my pre-made trigger system, get her set, snap it in. Oh man, ground hard. Raise her up. There we go. I got her set up. And let me find me a little squirrel or bunny or something. There we go. For all practical purposes, this here is going to be the bunny. Now what's going to happen, the old bunny or rabbit or squirrel, whatever comes in, I got it baited. I got it baited with a peanut and berry soot block that you throw in your bird feeder. Throw that back there in the back. So they come in, they smell that, they come walking around, they hit this stick, whoop, it's not supposed to twist like that. But they see that stick, they come in, once it froze up, it's cold out here today. Let's get this set up a little better. There we go. There we go. Nice. Comes in, he hits that, and bam! There we go. Just had to get it set right. And that's one thing about primitive traps, that you have to play with them, adjust them, and get them set right. They're not, pre-manufactured in a factory, and where they're going to work pretty reliable every time. They're just made out of wood. You've got to adjust the cuts, you've got to adjust the angle that you're setting them at, you've got to adjust the deadfall weight, and once you get it set right, play with it and make sure that it trips when it's supposed to. Once you get that done, they're pretty reliable traps. Now, let me get on the other side here so that I know I'm in the frame. This here is your deadfall, and the size of your deadfall is determined by the animal, your target animal that you're after. So your deadfall needs to be 4 times heavier than the target animal that you're after. So let's say we're after a pound or a pound and a half squirrel. So we're going to want a 4 to 6 pound weight on our deadfall. Mice and chipmunks, of course, are going to be considerably less. But let's say we want, we're feeding a couple people in a survival situation, so we want to go after something a little bigger, like coon or possum. Coon are going to weigh, average weight, anywhere from 8 to 12 pounds. So we're going to want somewhere between 40 and 60 pound deadfall weight. And I always find that it's better to go err on the heavy side than it is on the lighter side. And that way you know that you have enough firepower to dispatch the animal. You don't want to just pin it there and then it suffer. You want a dispatch of it as quickly as possible. So the heavy deadfall is going to ensure that the animal is dispatched quickly and humanely. Alrighty, let me show you what we'll do here real quick. We got the, let's go ahead and set it up real quick. Good. Yep. Alrighty. Now we got the deadfall set. I got a little stump log here that I want to set right here. And that'll just kind of help ensure that nothing will try to slip in there and miss my trigger. And then I'm going to take some leaves that I've gathered up and just kind of bank them up around it. This straw and just bank it up. And I've also wove a few sticks across the top. That way it'll support a leaf matter type roof. So what we're doing essentially is creating a cubby hole right inside there. I got the bait, I got my trigger system. I might move that up just a little bit so that the only way my target animal has to enter to get the bait is through here. So he's going to come through here, he's going to hit that, and boom, and look at that stick, or that trigger system flew out about 4 foot that time. So that's my setup right there. It's very effective. But one thing with primitive traps or any traps at all, the more you have out, the larger your success rate, the higher your success rate. So you don't want to put out only 1 or 2 traps and depend on them in a survival situation. You want to have at least a dozen traps set out. And that'll ensure that, you know, it ain't going to be a 100% guarantee, but that's going to give you a higher percentage of getting some protein. And you know, everybody talks about their requirements in a survival situation. Water, fire, and shelter is number 3. Number 4 on the list would be food, protein. And everybody knows that, you know, if you got a full belly, everything else seems to feel a little better. And it don't take a whole lot when you're in a survival situation to get that feeling of fulfillment from protein. It just takes a little bit. You'd be surprised at how little it takes to raise your spirits. So that's what we got today. That's a Siberian deadfall with a figure 4 trap system and the Jamie Burley band system on my trigger. So it's pretty cool. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great day.